Bros podcast. I forget, but Vikki Beretta is in the building. Comedian, actress, singer. Thanks for coming by, dude.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here.
It's awesome, bro. I seen you perform a couple of weeks ago at the Alameda Comedy Club. Shout out Patrick. Thank you for putting us on. You had a very funny set, man. Turn the music off. It was a very funny set. Very sexual, I think, right? You're not afraid to go. It's funny because it's like all guy comedians are like, what? But it's interesting because you don't know, but I come from a musical background. And I've been in it all my life, and I recently just got into comedy 3 weeks ago, right? So the scene's very different. Comedians are very different. But it was interesting because I saw your website, so you're an artist too, so you kind of get it. Multifaceted, which I feel like really good comedians are. Like some of my favorite comedians is Jamie Foxx, who's just freaking talented at the wazoo. But first of all, what was the show experience like for you? You just told me you are new to the scene, and I thought you weren't because you were hosting the second show. I was like, this girl's everywhere I'm at. She's on the same Facebook group that I'm at. So what's it like? Like, what was it like performing that night in the scene, in general? Since I'm new, it's a lot of things I'm still learning, but because I'm already a performer, I don't have as much stage fright as someone who's actually brand new. The writing is probably the hardest obstacle just because you need to write a lot, like so much. And that's juggling with other things, like all the other things I'm doing. So what are you doing? Oh, acting, and then I'm a photographer, and then I do voiceover. Oh, wow. So you're actively pursuing all these at the same time. Yeah. Okay. And they're all developing at the same time. Yeah. Right? Okay, I get it. And which one's going to go farther? Okay. Well, I jumped into comedy because I wanted it to help me in my acting. Right. Because I thought, well, I need something else besides just acting because that was my main thing. And I was like, well, stand-up will get me out there and get me connected, and it also came with other things I didn't realize it was going to do. It helped me get better at acting, actually. How? Because I'm performing constantly. I'm memorizing constantly. It's like improv kind of in a way. Yeah. Where you do the acting out, but it's in comedy form, so they're bits. And bits in acting is because you're making the bit. You're kind of helping your writing out. So as a stand-up comedian, you're your own writer, director, producer sometimes, and you're the only actor. I mean, you got the crowd to improv with, but... No, but they love when you tell a bit and you act it out. That's my favorite part of comedy. Well, I realized that because I was coming up with bits. I'm like, this punchline's going to work, and then it don't. Right? And then you got to say a bunch of funny stuff after it. And I think that works. I think there's a lot of different forms of jokes. For sure. And also, I think different audiences respond differently based on a lot of things, a lot of factors. Right. Sometimes you have a crowd that's all one race. Sometimes you have a crowd that's all one sexual orientation. Absolutely. Or one gender, or mixed genders. There's subcategories in comedy for sure. Mm-hmm. Right. Subgenres like there's music. Right. Yeah. So you mentioned about me being a girl and writing sex jokes, but it's interesting. But the thing is that sex isn't just a male thing. That's what's crazy to me. Yeah, sex is a human and animal thing. And maybe I'm one millennial now, but no, it's if you're a male making sex jokes, especially if you're older and not attractive looking, it does look you got to be really funny. I feel like the comedy has to work for me anyway, right? But if you're a female, you can just say whatever you want. And I know I'm being sexist right now, so I get it. But it's just we don't expect it as much, so I feel like you guys get this pass, and it works. I don't know this for a fact. Please tell me if I'm wrong, but it just seems to work, And it's funny because, like you said, in this underground scene that we're coming up in, a lot of it seems to be male comics. No, that's not true. No, it's true. It is. It's but there are females. There are. It's just every show I've been to. But it is a male-dominated industry for sure. I mean, there's very few industries that are not. For sure. For sure. Right. But I mean, people have all kinds of strong opinions about girls making sex jokes, from the worst opinion to the whole what's the big deal? It's no big deal to me. Yeah. I love it. It's just interesting. I mean, that's just misogyny, over history. For sure. Still on a journey. For sure. Misogyny has a long way to go. Yeah. Definitely we're at a place
where we're learning from it, almost where the Romans were at when they were at their height, how they were trying to be aware of it. And I have this bit about the LGBTQ. It's not really great, but it's like
Love the confidence.
yeah, no, I know I'm not. It's so real with me. But like, because I feel like for us to be like where the aliens are at and be this super evolved species where we really plateau to this higher learning, we will have to get rid of sex, right? Because if you stop fucking each other, right, then you're not like, if you say that's my girlfriend, that's really your girlfriend. Or no, I'm sorry. If you say that's your friend, I'm messing up the bit. If you say that's my friend, and it's a guy, it's just your friend, because there's no sex going on. Like, there's just no way, you know. And like, I just feel like as a society to move forward, we would that's kind of messing with that. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of telling us to become sexless, because that's how we'll become ever. I know it's on some weird high shit, but like, you know, that's how we get to like this supreme level of awareness and consciousness.
You think by eliminating sex, we become a supreme species?
100%. We will eliminate trying to impress the other race, and we'll just do shit.
So I do agree on part of that. I agree that like sex is way hypervalued in a lot of situations.
Dude, totally.
Like, connection is so much beyond that. Sex is one form of connection, but it shouldn't be like the sole purpose.
No, but you know, the way like males attain to it, you know, the way they put it on a pedestal.
Toxic masculinity, all like, it gets in the way of a lot of hierarchy thinking, you know, and you could still have like a species that's more physically stronger or you know, or whatever. But it's just funny. It's just funny how. Wait, what? You lost me on that.
Well, like you know how males are physically more stronger than females. Like, even if we were to get rid of genitals, you know, we would probably still have a species where maybe one side of the species is stronger physically. Like, you still have different attributes from female and male, you know. But just as a hierarchy of thinking, we're gonna go to a different plane because we don't have to chase each other and do all this extra stuff for sex. But please tell me what
I feel like when you know, as we've evolved mentally, we've also evolved physically.
For sure.
Like, nothing has that's been kind of like, it's growth, you know. They grow together.
Right.
So I feel like something along the lines might also follow.
Yeah, for sure. Something crazy, you know, could go down. So what are your thoughts on have you been a part of any other comedy scene in the nation, or is the Bay Area it?
The Bay Area is it. I just started like a few months ago, really fresh. But the first time I did stand-up, even after the very first time.
Pretty good for a couple months out.
Thank you.
Yeah.
People came up to me after and was like, there's no way that was your first time.
Yeah.
Like, you're a liar.
But you're a stage presence, sir, though. You act. You've done music. That's a cheat code to... No, but it is.
It is.
Like,
it really is.
It's super. It helped me.
Yeah.
It's super helped.
It's without a doubt. And everyone is like, how can I get better? And like, it's highly recommended you take some kind of acting class or theater thing, or Did
you take comedy class or?
I didn't, but I know people who have.
Right.
I don't know. I think that's an interesting thing.
Yeah. What are your thoughts about it?
I feel like just going out and doing open mics, you know, is
it's
like
class.
it's like a free class.
Yeah, it's comedy class.
And it's also like a free acting class for me too.
Yeah. The open mic, well, like the one that I went, it's only at 3 events, so you've been at 2/3 of them. But the smaller one was cool as fuck, because Alameda's like this crowd, and I didn't know what I was getting myself into, right? Because I'm like, you want me to invite guests, Patrick? Like, I don't know if I suck or not. So I was just like telling some friends, like, yo, let's go. But performing at the open mic seemed comfortable because it just seemed comics. It was a smaller crowd, and then they're gonna kind of give you the real.
Yeah, it's a very different crowd. I'm still learning about different crowds, like I said. So yesterday was a very different type of crowd. I did a show yesterday.
Yeah, I seen that. That looked like a very cool, chill crowd, like Oakland. No, tell me what happened. Tell us what happened last night at the event.
The venue was very cute, very chill, but the people were very judgy, very judgmental. Kind of sensitive.
Okay, so certain jokes weren't hitting.
They took things very literally.
Was
when
it political, sexual?
No, it was
like,
about race, but like not in like a racial way.
That's comedy.
Yeah.
They were sensitive about that.
I know.
But
I
it's
know.
a very. I don't know if the word progressive or liberal, or I think we're a liberal, right? So they get a little sensitive off that.
I don't know. I mean, I'm liberal too, but
Yeah, I get you. But you seem pretty cool and understanding in a way, and you do comedy.
yeah.
It just seems weird because it is like this difference between red states and blue states, and how like red states are more easygoing about comedy. And
Are
like,
they?
Yeah. and
Interesting.
This is the very toughest area to do comedy.
Oh.
Yeah,
Wow.
like if he can like because like of all the, like you said, they were. Did they boo or did they just get quiet?
One
or?
argued with me. She was just trying to correct me about something that wasn't. I wasn't even. I said I'm mixed ass shit. Like I'm random ass shit. Like in terms of ethnicity, and she.
Mixed Asha?
Sorry, I mixed ass shit. Like.
Mixed ass shit. Okay, I
Like-
thought you said a race.
No.
Mixtasha.
Like random ass shit. Like I'm like 4 different continents.
Okay.
Like
okay,
my
okay.
ethnicity.
Right. You're 23 and me.
Basically.
Yeah, you're the spokesperson. If you don't know what the hell you are, say 23 and me.
But I don't know. I guess that rubs some people the wrong way.
For sure,
Well,
for
just
sure.
one lady actually, but
So, what was the race?
me.
Or what was the race you got sensitive over? Or what
I
did you get
I
sensitive?
didn't even mention a race. I just said that, like, I'm random ass shit, and then I was gonna say my bit.
Oh, okay. What did she say, if you don't mind me asking?
She said, "No, that's wrong. There's only two ways to call that. You're either biracial or multiracial." So me saying,
She said all that from the stage? That's a lot. Like, what? Fuck that. Like,
it threw me so off guard. It threw me so
was
off
it the
guard.
first time you've been heckled?
No, but I'm new, so there's a lot to learn. But she was angry,
I have not been heckled yet, and I know it's coming.
and the host is very catering to the audience. So,
What does that mean?
like the audience is always right, basically. I mean,
What?
I don't know.
I guess I can see both points, but
Yeah.
in comedy, it's always been let's back up the comedian, right?
I don't know, honestly. I wasn't trying to start a fight. I kind of just moved on.
Okay. So you didn't entertain it.
I was frozen, honestly. It was.
It rattled you a little bit.
I just wasn't ready for someone to be mad at me when I was trying to tell a joke,
Yeah.
So I was just caught off guard. And then I got in my head.
Wow,
yeah.
Thank you for being honest. Okay, you got in your head. No, like what went on in Vicky's head?
I was just like, what did I do wrong? Like,
You took it internal.
I'm so confused.
You took it
Yeah,
internal.
because only one person has ever said anything about that comment before, but what they said was actually very wrong. Like,
Right,
they
right.
said that what I called that was ghetto, and I was like, okay,
No,
you're
Vicky,
just
I
a
don't
rich,
think you-
spoiled, entitled
I
ass.
wasn't there. Yeah, I wasn't there. But that's what you should have said. Did you say that?
No, but like, I don't think that was the case yesterday.
Okay, all right. I noticed what's going around Instagram right now, becoming very viral, is these comedian clips with crowd interaction.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And I think it's genius because you don't have to go and use your bit and sacrifice your bit to a crowd that's going to come and see you and then already heard that bit. You can use material that you're never going to see again, which is crowd interaction. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about that?
I think it's great. I think it's really fun. And then, you don't have to watch their set on Instagram or something and be like, and then come see them. And you're like, wow.
heard that.
Yeah. And
yeah.
it's like kind of disappointing, because
It is.
it's like that takes away the magic. But at the
Yeah.
same time, there's some jokes from comedians that I saw in person and they posted it online, and I was so excited they did because I want to watch
You wanted
it again.
to hear the joke. Interesting. So they're like Metallica cover songs or something. Like you want to hear the hits.
Like, it was so good. Like, there's some comedians where I have their jokes saved,
That's
like their
interesting.
videos saved, and
Yeah.
when I'm in a bad mood, I'm like, this will cheer me up.
Dude, that's what I'm saving right now. There's this comedian. He kind of inspired the other joke that I told the last open mic, but it was a completely different joke. He was talking about if you wanted to extract information from him, you would have to mess up his mom's computer. And because it's so excruciating trying to tell his mom like how to fix the computer because his mom was like, okay, move the arrow. You don't see the arrow? Okay, move your mouse. Okay, the mouse is a thing that's connected to, and it's just going like detail, like it's just hilarious. My Asian mom, she calls me, and I don't know how to fix her computer, and it's like, I get that. I don't know what to do either, Mom. Like, and so you learned English? You've been here, you have education? What's wrong with you? I'm like, I just saved your house last month, man. Like, I'm not everything just because I learned English. Like, yeah, but I don't know. What kind of parents do you? I mean, are your parents like that? Immigrant?
Yeah, my mom was born in Vietnam. My dad was born in Mexico.
Okay.
Whoa. Yeah.
You are 23 and me, dude.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
And my mom's not even full Vietnamese. Like, she's two other things.
Beautiful food and culture. Oh my God, the food.
But my mom grew up in America, so her English is fine. She's very Americanized. Yeah,
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, she's the one who's Vietnamese. She's also German and Cherokee.
You don't look anything Vietnamese.
I get like mixed responses.
They're lying to you. That guy's just trying to hit on you because you don't look anything. I mean, like, this girl was trying to scam me for some money. Like, no, okay, you're Vietnamese and your dad's Mexican? Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Yeah.
That's a bomb-ass restaurant.
Vietnamese Mexican food?
Dude.
That is like top favorite.
Burrito? Like, a faux burrito? Like, give me that shit. Coming to her house and eating. Like, I'm her gay Korean friend. Like, if you don't. So, how did they hook up? Like, what was their story?
They worked at Denny's together.
Okay. What?
I know. In Selena's.
That's romantic.
Or something like that.
That is so cool. I like when people have these kind of jobs and they hook up. Like, because I Ubered some guy who worked at Jack in the Box, and I was like, I'm about to get married, and I'm like, oh, cool, where's your girl work? At Jack in the Box. I'm like, wow, you should not date married women because they're all fucked up, bro. Like, keep that chick, bro. Like, I don't know if you know what I mean. But, like, have you been to married your whole life?
Yeah, I have.
Okay, yeah, so you know, like, it's a crazy dating scene. It's like fucking crazy. So look, we're going back to the comedy and stuff like that. How are you coming up with bits? Because I'm curious. Because I write on a pen and paper, and I just think shit out loud, and I go, that's not funny.
So I actually like to type. I feel like
it's faster.
It's faster. Yeah, it doesn't interrupt my flow of thoughts, and I can go back and edit it. You know.
Yeah, you can copy paste, move, bring it down. Right.
But sometimes I just have like a small thought that I want to write a note of. So I'm starting to bring my pen and paper just to write the note, and then I'll, continue the whole thought later. So what I do for writing bits is I'll set some time aside and just think of a topic that makes me feel something or remember something, and then just write stream of thoughts.
What does it for you? Like, after a drink, after a bowl?
Oh, I don't drink.
So what do you do to get like in the mode of
I just do it.
You just do it?
Yeah.
You don't set aside a specific time of day?
Nope.
Or you just do it? Okay.
Just whenever I can. So like lately it's been in the morning because that's when I have time, but it's not like at 8 o'clock or 7. It's just like, oh, I got like 30 minutes. I'm going to do it now.
Okay.
And sometimes it's like in between things, like in like 4 p.m.
4 p.m.
Just like random, sometimes it's just whenever I can
jokes
get to
come
it.
randomly to me.
Yeah.
Don't they just come randomly to you? Because you're going over your old bit, and then you're like, oh, like, this kind of adds on nicely, or...
I feel like I get the best ideas when I'm just hanging out with people and listening to conversations, and I'm like, oh, that's funny. Like, that reminds me of something that that happened to me or that I saw, and then I take that inspiration and I write the note down, and then I'll go write it out more.
That's why I want to hang with more comedians, because like I'm trying to develop a network, because it's like you want other people to tell your jokes to, or just kind of riff and just say weird shit, and then have like the people of a like mindset, like, oh yeah, that's cool, and then you should do that, or da.
So I have a couple comedy group chats, and like one of the girls was suggesting that. Yeah, I'll invite you to it now.
So you guys share bits and jokes and stuff like that?
Yeah, a little bit. But also one of the girls has been
awesome.
trying to set up a little group in person to do exactly what you said.
I told you that idea? Okay, so I think it's... Tell me this is a stupid idea. But I thought it'd be cool, and I'll show you this little event space. I think it'd be cool if you could get like 10... I don't know why the fuck. Okay, I think it'd be cool. I did an ice bath before I got here, so I'm like, I think it'd be cool if you had like 10 comedians, right? And you do an event where like after someone performed their shit, that you would pass the mic around to the comedians in the audience, and they could say their favorite joke and the joke they didn't like, and like a little 30-second. Do you know what Kill Tony is?
Yes.
Okay, we'll talk about that. That's another topic.
Okay.
We'll wait on that. But Yeah, I just thought like, well, and I'm only thinking this because I'm new, you know, so I don't know what it's like to experiment and make jokes. So I just felt like having an event like that would be cool. But what you said was awesome. Explain this group to me. Like, you guys just like sit there and criticize each other's jokes.
So I created it to be like a support group because sometimes, you know, this industry gets kind of tough. Like,
Yeah.
you already know, you barely
it's-
stepped in and you know. Yeah,
like,
heart-wrenching.
Are you done? You're 5 years. I don't give a fuck. There's no seniority in this shit. It's gut wrenching as fuck.
Yeah.
You have to take denial and rejection. I take that all day.
But like, you know, you need that support system sometimes. You need to be celebrated. You know, you need to just like know that it's okay when you like don't feel good because that's part of the ride.
I love that. I love comedians picking you up too because they're really fucking cool. Musicians are kind of selfish and ego, and they want a compliment out of it or something, or free studio time from it, just something. But the few comedians and I met this one guy named Artie. He is fucking cool, man, and I love his comedy, and I want like 10 Arties around me.
I know Artie.
You know Artie, right? He's cool. You don't meet guys like that in the industry.
He's a kid, isn't he?
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
just a
it's
kid.
so cool.
But his attitude, and he responds to my Facebook. Shout out Artie, man. Responds to my Facebook stuff, and
It's so cool to see like really young people, like kids or whatever, like get into it. Like
even older people too, but yeah, kids too. You're
yeah,
right.
I wish I did it like when I was like fucking 15.
I know. we meet monsters. But, you know, I think it's cool starting at the age that we're at, because hearing your bit, you needed life for that.
But I definitely had stuff when I was in high school, but I was
did.
just too shy to talk about that stuff. Like,
So you came into yourself later. And then you
I was a late bloomer.
A lot of comedians blow up, I feel, 30s and up because they're seasoned, though. You know, they have that confidence. You know what I mean? And comedy's a tricky thing to navigate, because if you're not used to like an entrepreneurial lifestyle, like that shit could eat you up, and it could give you a false sense of something that's not even there. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Maybe not, but
entertainment. I feel like the entertainment industry is just kind of like
it's
that.
finicky. You know, but if you have a love for it, and that's just what I've seen with like musicians. It's like all the musicians that blew up weren't really trying to blow up. They were just trying to reinvent the craft.
They're just being, I feel like the best ones are just being like really raw, you know, really true, and don't even understand why they're making it.
Who do you like?
In terms of musicians?
Comedy.
Comedy.
New and old, if you don't. Because I like, there's like a...
For an old comedian, let me think.
There's Eddie Murphy, you know.
I don't remember Eddie Murphy's stuff.
Yeah,
like,
I'm old, so you probably, yeah.
I feel like I'm a lot older than you think I am.
I don't know. Let's not tell that on camera. Tell that off camera. But like, yeah, what era? Like, or what era? What comedy did you? Or was it Living Color?
Well, I watched a lot of George Lopez.
Genius. That guy's genius.
My recent favorite that I've discovered. He's not even new. He's a lot older, I think, than. I'm just late on discovering him, but Joe Coy.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that guy's a monster, dude.
I love how
Good
animated
mom
he
jokes.
is.
Yeah, best mom jokes. Your mother, Joe, come here. No, and Filipinos are so funny. No, I don't think you were there, but last time I went to the Alameda Comedy Club, they had a Filipino guy, and I just laughing just because he was Filipino.
Just because he was Filipino.
He had the accent, and my wife told me not tonight, and I'm like, oh my god, that's funny. And I was like, laugh. I'll just laugh at you, man. I like laughing. You know, I like going there and laughing, but just because I know it helps. I know what it did for me. It was like heroin. I don't never done heroin, but it was like drugs. You know, it's just like, oh, we got your back. Tell me what that's like when people laugh at your shit and you're killing.
Oh, it's such a high. Like, I am addicted to the adrenaline.
It's like skydiving, right?
Never done it, but,
okay, but
I hear.
Or whatever. It's like a rush.
It is.
It's like ice baths. After. Not during, because they suck. But like, yeah, have you killed your whole and you know, I mean, I've seen you kill. I've seen you do really good.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, just explain the whole thing. Like,
so it's interesting because I get the most rush when it's Okay, so recently.
closer, sorry.
Oh, so recently I did a show. I know I'm too short.
That's all good.
So recently I did a show in Alameda, not Alameda Comedy Club, but what's it called?
What was it?
Fireside Lounge.
I know Fireside. Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Dope Lounge. Very cool.
It is. It's
Yeah.
really cute. And I had like a handful of people that came through to see me.
Okay, that helps.
And like half of those people had never seen me perform before.
That really helps.
So I was so adrenaline. I was so nervous. I thought I was gonna pass out or throw up.
Yeah, that happens. Yeah, you feel that. No, I feel like
Casually.
Do you feel like I'm not even gonna go tonight? I'm so much excited. I'm just gonna watch like Netflix. Do you do that? I don't know. I do that.
I mean, I do hit that, but not for the show. The show I'm excited for, and I think I'm okay until like right before I go up, and then I feel like I'm gonna die.
That's a natural feeling. That's, yeah. No, but it means you care though.
Mm-hmm.
It means you care.
I mean, I want to make a good first impression, you know.
Yeah.
The open mics, I don't feel shit usually.
You don't feel shit.
Or it's just very minimal, you know, like I get kind of excited to try new stuff, or if I don't rely on like my little note card of like what to say, and I just try to wing it, then I get kind of nervous there. But I feel like as I progress, you know.
So you get nervous when you wing it, but that's what it's for, though, right? The open mic, because that's what I noticed. Everyone's bringing their notebooks on stage and they're practicing, and they're I like that, you know, because I was just doing my bit. I've worked on my bit before and I'm just like kind of working on it, but I am throwing in. I did throw in a couple of jokes at that open mic, and it just was like, oh, that's great. They kind of give you that feedback, you know what I mean? How do you do the practice bits? Do you have like a main bit that you work on, and then you add to that, or are you still figuring that out? 'Cause I know you said you're new.
What do you mean?
Like, so the way I see it, like comedians have this way of going about it where they're working their way up to like a 30-hour-minute bit, you know, and they make that a special, you know.
So what's interesting is like you can do the same bit and it can last you either 10 minutes or 30 minutes depending on the audience and how things are going during the set, because sometimes there's a lot of back and forth with the audience,
Right.
and that kills some time, and it's kind of nice, you know. You have like a really like it's like a big hug with the audience when you can like extend it that long.
It's good content too with the audience, right? Okay.
But like other times, you know, sometimes the audience doesn't give very much, or you just aren't connecting with the audience, whatever's happening, you know, and then you just burn through it and you're like, oh shit.
Okay, I haven't had the first one yet, so that's cool. So when it's going really good, they laugh and
they laugh, they say things, and then you're improvising is the right word.
Okay.
Back and forth with them sometimes. Like, oh, so one of my jokes, I set it up differently just to like try it out, and I asked the audience, does anyone know anyone who's vegan? And so the bartender who's working yelled, I'm a Mormon, it's the same thing.
I don't get it.
It doesn't make sense, but it made everyone laugh, so you gotta roll with it, right? If everyone thinks it's funny.
People, it just happens, right? Something doesn't make sense, people still laugh.
And then I just kind of like made a joke off of that and then got back to my joke. See what I'm saying? But it kills time.
Well, I've never been in that situation, but I don't know if I felt like I've seen it. So, but I feel you though. Yeah. So that's a way better.
Well, it doesn't seem like what I explained. It's not that obvious that that's what I'm doing, because no one knows I'm going to tell a joke.
Exactly. No one knows what your bit is.
Yeah.
Right?
So from the outside, it just looks like a conversation that turned into a joke later.
And bits can be different in every city depending on how the comedian does it. Right. So like that's why a special can be like weird, and then you could say it different one, and it's weird because it's like you get this extra zinc in your brain. You know how to figure out how to say it differently and make it funny.
Yeah, I tested that out yesterday with the audience, and so I went second. So I noticed how the crowd was responding with the first comedian. I was like, wow, they would not fuck with me if I said my jokes the way I normally say them. So I was like, I got to rephrase them like drastically. And I only had a couple minutes after I realized that, right? Because I'm second.
Right.
So I rephrased like, I don't know, 2 or 3 of them. And then I was like, shit, like I just know the rest of my stuff isn't going to work. But
why?
They just weren't fucking with it.
Gotcha.
I don't know.
Get that vibe. You just get the vibe. You just know.
You get a vibe. Yeah.
You get a vibe. I love that though, because it's just like interesting little, and people say that, comedians say that all the time. It's cliche, but a joke could work here and not there, and it could be the same damn joke. You know what I mean? Like, do you get rid of it? Do you keep it? Like, that's a weird thing, right?
You just gotta like know when to use it and when to like roll with it, when to drop it. Like, it was a learning experience yesterday for sure. You know, didn't feel good. You know, learning is never a good experience in the beginning.
No, but that's what makes you a great performer, is going through a lot of those. Because I see like you 20 hecklers from now just cussing them out, like, man, fuck yeah, you know, no one had to handle yourself. But it's funny because these hecklers can make good content.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
That's a lot of my favorite clips on Instagram are people like dissing the heckler and the heckler leaving crying. I know I'm horrible, but like, no, like this girl, like she says something, you could tell like this girl's ruining the show, and the guy called her. I'm not gonna say it, but she called her like a politician. She looked alike, and then she just stopped crying, you know. But I noticed too, what's big. Do you notice this? Is that people aren't even writing material; they're just going out there and roasting people.
Some people like that. Like,
I think it's good.
Yeah.
What do you think about it?
I think it's fun to watch. I don't know. I think it depends on the comedian. Like, some I like watching their jokes, and like I want to hear more of their life.
You like the bit, right? You like the bits, right?
I like both. You
like
know,
both.
I do.
So you do like the roasting then?
Yeah. I like
Interesting.
when the roasts are in between everything. It's like a little spice.
I like a little spice. I like the roasts because they're hilarious if they're on point. You know what I mean? Because it's funny to say someone looks like a generic version of something and they name that person, or you know what I mean? Well, at the Alameda, like I only said the Stevie Aoki thing, and I said it right. I just thought of it right there because I think it was Artie. Yeah, he made fun of himself. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna make fun of myself. You know what I mean? Okay, we're at the 30-minute mark. You okay? Okay, so Kill Tony. Fascinated off that show.
I've only seen a couple things.
I want to like get a Facebook group and go, you know. So have you heard about it? Do you know about it?
I've seen like the YouTube a couple.
So Kill Tony's a show in Austin, and Austin's becoming like this hub for comedy. Because I guess Joe Rogan moved out there. Do you know who Joe Rogan is?
Yeah, somewhere in my
You don't
brain.
even care. That's cool. That's cool. That's fucking awesome. So and people get to perform. Amateurs like us get to perform 1 minute of comedy in front of Kill Tony, which gets like millions of views. And there's been certain comedians that have actually only have done it for a month, and now like they're opening up for like huge acts.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. You don't know about it? You should go and watch it.
I
Okay?
should.
No, please. Because I think it'd be cool if like a Bay Area group could like pull some funds. I mean, I could afford it, but it'd just be cool to pull some funds together, go in a van, head down there, and all sign up and try to get on. Because like there's guys on there that I don't even think that are funny. I'm gonna be honest, man. Like I don't think Hans Kim is that funny, you know. But who cares what I think? But like,
Who's that?
exactly. Thank you, man.
Yeah.
High five, bro. Yeah, who's that?
Like
See, she's
what?
backing me up. No, you're really interested. No, Hans Kim is a Korean comic like me, but successful. And this, that's the only difference. But like he was homeless and then living in a van or in a park. Like there's much of a difference. And then he started doing those shows, and he kept coming back every week. Cause I guess you have to put your hat your name in a hat,
Like a raffle.
and you get picked to go on stage. And he killed every time he went.
Oh, wow.
And now he opens up for Tony Hinchcliffe, Joe Rogan, Tom Segura, because they're there watching you. He invites like big like all of Joe Rogan's network, Bill Burr. And I don't really like Bill Burr's comedy, but I do envy Joe Rogan's group of comedians, if you know what I'm saying. Like I feel like I want that here. I'm not gonna lie. Like I'd like my NWA of comedians,
NWA?
or No Limit Records of comedians. You don't get that? Like
What's that mean?
like a group of comedians, like we're all cool and we all know each other. We're all doing comedy though, and hopefully we all get big.
Like my group chat.
Exactly. Because I don't know if you know this, a lot of those comedians that Joe Rogan knows, like Tom Segura, Bill Burr, they all got big because of that podcast. They got bigger. Like they went from nightclubs to arenas.
Oh, my God.
Because of this podcast. You don't know this?
No.
Yeah, what do you think I'm doing this podcast? What do you think I got you on now?
I'm a little checked out, I guess.
I'm trying to get us in an arena.
Let's do it.
But no, his podcast is bigger than his comedy because no one really likes. Do you like Joe Rogan? Did I say something messed up for my future? I mean, like, no, like, I think Joe Rogan's comedy is pretty good, but it's just like his podcast skills outweigh that. And so, but his podcast gets like network views, and he talks about comedians, and when he mentions them, all their shows get filled out. Huh. You don't know about this. You should watch. You should listen to his podcast.
I should.
Yeah, I mean, it's for comedians, but the Kill Tony thing is great. I wanted to ask you about that, but you don't know about it. But what do you think about an opportunity like that for comedians, and how do you see the way you're going about it? Like, how do you see it panning out? Like, what is the game plan you could give a new comedian like us, Vikki? You know, they're nervous on their couch writing a bit. Oh, one day I'm gonna do it.
You just have to do it. Like, a lot of people talk about it, and
how do you do it? How did you do it?
I just did an open mic. So I was thinking about doing it for a while, and then I was like, I'm going to do it. And then I met someone who was gonna start an open mic, and they're like, I'll hit you up when I start it if you're down, to see if you're down, like, serious. And then
that's cool. That's a cool friend.
From that point, well, I just met him.
That's a cool guy, though.
This is Felix.
Go Felix.
Yasolino.
Go Felix.
And 2 months later, he remembered. 2 months later, he remembered, and he hit me up. And I was like, okay, fuck it, I'm gonna do it. And I was so nervous. But
excited.
I was excited. I was nervous. You know, I wrote stuff just the day before and was rehearsing it that day. That's the most I've ever rehearsed, like 8 hours straight.
You're an actress. You're in the business. No, but that's what we do. That's what professionals do. They practice. I can tell some people did not practice. People that we perform with.
Yeah.
They could tell, like, oh, this is a good idea. And then they get up, like, this is not a good idea.
But that's what the open mics are for. So, like, my first time, I wanted to over prepare so that I wasn't disappointed in myself.
You did good, you said.
I still am using some of the jokes I made there. I mean, they've obviously been more fleshed out, and people didn't believe that was my first time. And like I said, I rehearsed, so I think my stage presence was decent for it being my first
Very
time.
Decent. I mean, I saw what I saw at the Alameda Comedy Club. You're very comfortable up there.
It's definitely better since. And
that's good.
Yeah, and
since I saw you at the Alameda Comedy Club.
I would say so.
Wow, because you are in that group chat a lot, like me. Like we're trying to get every opportunity possible. I respect that about you because I told someone like, oh, I have a show last week and I have one coming up this Tuesday, and then, well, aren't you busy? And I'm like, well, don't you want to be successful at this? What you gonna do like once a fucking week and like. What? I
know. I had the same reaction from like my coworker.
If you're gonna do it, do it.
They're like, again? I'm like,
what? It wasn't for an Instagram post. This is my first time. Like, no, like, thank you. But like, if you're okay, because I've met people and they're like, how long you been doing comedy? I'm like, 7. They've been like 7 years.
I know.
And I'm like, well, how often did you perform? I was here like maybe 8 months ago, and I'm like. What?
8 months ago.
And I'm just barely performing, and I'm like, what is your game plan, my friend?
I know. It's like, you gotta keep working on it. It's an art, you know? Like, it won't improve unless you put the work in.
No. But you get better at it every time you do it. I mean, that's what I feel. Like, you get more comfortable in...
I mean, a lot of comics I meet, they were like, yeah, when I started, I was hitting up, like, 4 or 5 mics a night. Like 4 or 5 days a week.
That's fucking awesome, dude.
Yeah. They're like, you have to get on as much as you can to get better faster.
Who gave you that advice?
A lot of comics. A lot.
That you respect and shit, obviously. Or at least know.
Yeah, I met them in person and they told me. And like, so the coolest comics I know, the ones that are the best, aren't like gatekeepers. So.
Yeah. Explain. What's a clip?
They're really sweet. They're like, okay, since I know you're new, I'm gonna give you all the advice that I wish I knew. And like, they're like, get up as much as you can. Always write new stuff. Always take chances. Always take any opportunity to do a show.
When they mean take chances, do they mean within the bit?
So when you're doing open mics, that's when you have your time to like try new stuff, fuck up, fail, because then you can know what to like move on from.
Right.
You don't want to, try a bunch of new stuff at a show. I mean, unless you for sure know it's going to work.
Yeah, unless you're that good, unless you're Dave Chappelle.
Okay, I'll be honest though. I usually try at least like 1 or 2 new jokes every show.
That's good.
Yeah, but like it's like I kind of just have a gut feeling about it. But it's a gamble for sure, and that's why I get so nervous.
It's good to eat shit even if you have to eat shit. I really feel like eating shit is just giving you a bigger throne in heaven. Like, you know, it's just like I mean, because my engineer did it because he saw me do it, and I just said, hey man, if you eat shit, I'm gonna have a lot of respect for you, bro. You know what I mean? Like, you're that guy in high school getting clowned on by your ex-girlfriend. Like, you got balls, homie. You know what I mean? And it just feels cool to actually have done it my 3rd time now and then feel that. It's a fake punk 'cause I've only done it 3 times. But, like, just to feel that, like, okay, we both ate shit. And, like, we know that feeling and we can tell each other a joke and not feel stupid. Because I tell these guys jokes and they go, huh? And they're all high. And I'm like, that's not the energy I want. Laugh, man.
But you're telling them when they're high. Okay,
And
so
I get that.
them being high, that's an audience in itself, you know?
Oh, my God.
And apparently you got to treat a high audience very differently from everyone else.
Really? Tell us the game.
So
Vikki.
from what everyone's told me, if your audience is super high, you have to talk very slow.
Stop playing, dude. 'Cause you sound like cliche, bro. You're telling me because
You would think it's like ridiculous, but I'm being serious.
And it works.
I haven't done it yet.
haven't done it
But
yet.
everyone is telling me. They're like, yeah, you just have to know that they're high and just talk slower. No,
And there's a bigger delayed reaction.
yes, you got to wait longer for the reaction.
Why is that true, though? I totally believe that.
I don't smoke
totally
weed,
believe that.
so that was good information.
No, it's good information, though. But, like, all my people that smoke weed, yeah. Because I tell these guys stuff, and they're, like, getting it a second later. You know what I mean? Like, they react. But it's cool.
Like 5 business
I
days
smoke
later.
a little weed, but I don't. Well, actually, when I'm high, I don't try to be around anyone either, too. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to talk to people when I'm high. Like, it's so fucking annoying. And when I used to have my other studio, like, people would wait till I got high to come talk to me because they thought, like, it would be, like, a good time to talk to me, you know? Like, they would, hey, listen to my music, Billy. And I'm like, no. Because that is the most annoying thing to do when I'm high. I'm sorry, but, like, I've heard, like, every song. And I don't know what's good or not good with these young kids. So tell me what actually, this is what I want to ask you because I feel like you're in that cusp, bro. Are you gonna start like videotaping your performances now, making clips?
I've been filming them, but like, and I've posted 2 videos, and I have a lot of work to do with my other videos.
What do you mean?
Well, because I want to put captions because
You know how to do that, right? Instagram does that now.
I do.
Yeah, dude, if you make a story, I'm gonna show her right now. She's like, oh shit, I'm so.
But
No,
sometimes
so-
it's longer than a story. I don't know. Maybe.
Oh yeah, so if you do this
Uh-huh.
and you go shoots and then you do this, there's captions right
Oh,
there.
shit.
And it'll turn it. Yeah, I know. That's what a lot of comedians are doing, bro. But I have Adobe Premiere. I think you've seen this. Is what I'm gonna do with this. I'm gonna make. But my caption's gonna be a lot cooler, man. I'm using different fonts, buddy. But that one, I don't think you can edit. In Premiere, you can edit.
Yeah. Sometimes the sound quality is kind of not great. So
So you have to have your phone there at the bottom of the mic. Do you know about that trick?
to capture the audio.
Yeah.
So I've been doing that, but it's more for like notes.
No,
for
yeah, that's
myself.
good. You should keep it for notes, but
Also for that, yeah.
you add that to the video, and then
Magic.
magic! Look at here, that camera audio sure is good. Why is it my phone like that? No, but that really helped because audio. It sounds so bad when you can't and you use a camera. Oh, so now Adobe Premiere has an AI tool that uses the camera audio and it can make it sound like podcast audio. Do you know about that?
Oh no.
It's fucking crazy. I'm like, why did I buy this shit then? But I know. I'm like, every time I buy some AI. But yeah, AI can do that now.
It's moving at the speed of
Dude,
light.
it's fucking crazy, dude. But it's very important. Can you explain the importance of making? Because I think it's hugely important.
So I was in a room with some very, very experienced comedians,
Yeah.
and they were talking about how back like 10, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, comedy was obviously different, right?
Yeah.
There was no social media,
No.
all that stuff.
No.
And like the way things worked then was you send a videotape and get booked. Crazy, right?
Yo.
And today, basically, you got to have social media to be a comedian and get booked. You have to send them clips. You have to show them, like a YouTube video. Like,
they want to know you before they see you.
uh-huh.
And in this world, it's so harder to know you, right?
It's just, I mean, you have a lot of competition all the time now.
I see it on my gram.
But I know, so the thing is that a lot of comedians I know have been doing it for fucking 3-4 years and don't have any videos.
Media, yeah.
And it's like you have to.
There's different worlds, right?
There was one comedian that's been doing it for 10 years and has no social media at all.
And he's successful.
He hates that he's not getting as many bookings, and this is the room I was in where the other comedian was like, it's not like before. It's
That's
not
gotta
like before.
suck.
Yeah.
That's gotta suck if you've been in the craft that long and you see some kid post something for like the 5 months he's in it, but he's fucking good at marketing and he understands. And younger people are going out to comedy and older people are on Facebook. So you got to post on all platforms. You got to post on Facebook and Instagram. I don't know about TikTok. I just can't. I'm just overwhelmed. I ain't gonna lie.
There's so many social medias, and now there's Threads and Blue
I
Sky.
want a punch mark in the face, man. You know how much shit's on my phone? It's at max, and you give me Threads.
Same.
Fucking asshole.
I can't even download it.
Now you're gonna be part of that. Share the face, and then like Threads is all the way. No one's gonna care. Do you care about Threads? I don't.
I mean, it's so much pressure. Like, I feel like I need to get it, but I just don't. I literally do not have room on my phone.
I can't even do Twitter though. Do you do Twitter?
I have one.
And it's important.
I don't use it.
Yeah. We gotta go to that show, right?
Yeah.
I wanted a podcast with you all day, man. But thanks, Vikki, coming in. Check her out on Instagram, guys. Vikki with 2 Ks. On Instagram, your
Vikki Beretta.
Vikki Beretta. She went
Beretta
low.
like the
Why
gun.
did you go low? Vikki Beretta.
Oh, I don't.
What was that about?
I don't know.
First you told me she's an actor, not an actress, and I'm Vikki Beretta. I'm a dude, all right? Shut the fuck up. No, thanks for coming on. You were great, man. Not the first comedian I had, but from this new comedian community, for sure, man. I appreciate it. Anything you want to say before we get out of here?
If you're trying to do comedy, you just have to fucking do it. Stop talking.
This girl's a gangster.
Stop talking about doing it and just do it.
You are a gang member, Vikki. Okay, man. We are out of here. Create Studios Podcast 70 something. I appreciate y'all. One love.